Chapter 5. Seeing Reality as It Is. Subhuti, what do you think? Can the Tathagata be seen by means of his bodily form? No, world-honored one, the Tathagata cannot be seen by means of his bodily form. Why is this? Because the Tathagata has said that bodily form is not really bodily form. The Buddha said to Subhuti, all appearances are illusory. If one sees that all appearances are not appearances, then one sees the Tathagata. Non-appearance and emptiness. We must pay close attention here. Earlier, the Buddha instructed us that those who practice Buddhism should not be attached to forms, especially when practicing generosity. The Buddha first explained the merit of non-attachment in giving, showing that wisdom and its merits are boundless. Now the Buddha is moving forward to tell us how we can truly see the Buddha. This is a serious matter. Everyone practicing Buddhism wants to see the Buddha. The Buddha asked Subhuti, Subhuti, what do you think? Can the Buddha be seen by means of his bodily form? In Buddhist scriptures, it is said that the Buddha possesses 32 marks of excellence in appearances and 80 minor marks of excellence that come with these appearances that distinguish him from ordinary beings. For example, when the Buddha appears, he can emit light, a feat beyond ordinary people. His hands, when opened, have webbed fingers, and his tongue can extend to his hairline. Each of these physical marks has its own significance and merit, cultivated over many lifetimes. For instance, offering flowers and incense to the Buddha in this life leads to a beautiful appearance in the next. Ladies, take note. Offering clothing to the Buddha in this life ensures that in your next life, you will always have clothes to wear and enjoy good health. Offering medicine in this life ensures a lifetime free of illness. If one was stingy with offering medicine in a past life, they might face many disasters and illnesses in this life. The Buddha's 32 marks and 80 minor marks are the results of his countless lifetimes of virtuous actions, always striving for the highest good. Here, the Buddha asks, can you see the Buddha by his physical form? This is the question the Buddha posed to Subhuti. Subhuti replied, no, world-honored one. Pay attention here, the Buddha cannot be seen by his physical form. If you try to see the Buddha through his form, you are mistaken. You might then ask, why do we create Buddha statues in temples and worship them? These statues are not the Buddha himself. The Buddha, like many other religions, opposed idol worship. Then why do we bow to the painted and sculpted images of the Buddha? The answer lies in the phrase, because of my form, you show reverence. The form exists to evoke a sense of reverence in you when you bow before it. The form is merely a symbol. When you bow, you are not bowing to the statues, but to yourself. You saved yourself. The highest teachings of any religion are the same. It is not I who save you, but you who save yourself. With a sincere heart, even if you bow to a piece of wood or mud, you are successful. This is called, because of my form, you show reverence, but it is not the form that you are bowing to. It is your own sincerity. Thus, not only should we not mistake the image for the Buddha, but even when the Buddha was alive, one should not view his physical body as the true teacher. To do so would be to become attached to form. In the Shurangama Sutra, Ananda made this mistake. The Buddha asked Ananda, why did you become a monk? Ananda replied, I saw your beautiful appearance and you emit light, so I knew you were not of this world. The Buddha scolded him, you fool, you are attached to form. You became a monk because of your attachment to beauty. As a result, Ananda encountered the crisis with Matangi's daughter, which was a consequence of his attachment to form. Therefore, the Buddha said that one cannot see the Tathagata through his physical form. Why is this? Because the Tathagata has said that bodily form is not really bodily form. Why is this? The true body that does not undergo birth and death is not this physical body. The physical body is still subject to birth and death. Even if one practices to live for 1,000 years, in the end, they will still die. For example, there was a Zen master named Baozhang who lived for 1,000 years. He lived for 500 years in India, but had not yet attained enlightenment, so when he knew that Mahayana Buddhism would spread to China, he came to wait. After meeting Bodhidharma, he lived for another 500 years in China. Several temples in mainland China have his statues, known as Baozhang, the 1,000-year monk. Like Mahakasyapa, who remains in the world, these are cases of long life, but they are still bodily forms subject to time. A long life of 500 years or even 1,000 years is still finite. The true body that does not undergo birth and death is not this physical body, but the Dharma body. The Dharma body cannot be seen as a physical form, so the Buddha gave us the following important teaching. The Buddha said to Subhuti, "All appearances are illusory. If one sees that all appearances are not appearances, then one sees the Tathagata." Here, Kumarajiva adds emphasis. The Buddha specifically told Subhuti, "All appearances are illusory. If one sees that all appearances are not appearances, then one sees the Tathagata." These 4 sentences are crucial and must be understood deeply. Any phenomena you experience are false. Anything that is achieved through practice will disappear if you stop practicing. You might say that when you meditate, you experience certain states, but when you stop meditating, those states are gone. Those states are forms, and all forms are not real. How can one truly see the Buddha? By seeing the Dharma body, which is the true form of the Buddha. When one sees that all forms are not forms, this is not about emptiness. Many people mistakenly interpret this as emptiness, but that is adding something to the text. If it were about emptiness, why not just say emptiness? The text simply states, "If one sees that all forms are not forms," without concluding what not forms means. Many people who recite the Diamond Sutra impose their own interpretation here, believing it means emptiness, but that is their interpretation, not the Buddha's words. The Buddha only said that if you see that all forms are not forms, then you see the Tathagata, meaning you see the Dharma body of the Buddha. The key point is that the Buddha only tells you that it is not a form. He does not tell you it is emptiness. The reasoning here is about non-attachment, not attached to emptiness. The 3 bodies, Dharma body, reward body, and transformation body. The main focus of Chapter 5 of the Diamond Sutra revolves around the 4 lines. All appearances are illusory. If one sees that all appearances are not appearances, then one sees the Tathagata. There has been a long-standing debate over which 4 lines in the Diamond Sutra are the most important. Another famous 4 lines conclude the sutra. All conditioned phenomena are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a shadow, like dew or a flash of lightning. Thus should we view them. Now returning to the content of Chapter 5, the Buddha says that one should not see the Tathagata through physical form. In Buddhist teachings, it is said that a Buddha has 3 bodies: the Dharma body, the reward body, and the transformation body. This is why some temples display 3 identical Buddha statues side by side, representing these 3 bodies. This was the case in large temples in mainland China after the Tang dynasty. After the Tang dynasty, Taoism also adopted this format, with the 3 pure ones arranged similarly, Shang King, Tai King, and Yu King, also representing 3 bodies. This discussion of religious representation shows that all religions, Eastern and Western, have some degree of mutual influence. We know that in Buddhism, attaining Buddhahood involves realizing the 3 bodies. The pure body is the Dharma body, the perfect body is the reward body, and the myriad forms are the transformation body. From a philosophical perspective, the Dharma body is the essence of all things in the universe. Borrowing modern terminology, it could be described as the source of all energy. The reward body is the manifestation of that essence. The idea that one cannot see the Tathagata through physical form means not to mistake the manifestation for the essence. The transformation body represents the various functions and transformations. In philosophical terms, the Dharma, reward, and transformation bodies can be understood as essence, appearance, and function. All things in the universe have essence, appearance, and function. For example, water is the essence. When water is used to brew tea, the tea is the appearance. If it is used to make alcohol, the alcohol is another appearance. Whether it is tea, alcohol, or ice cream, the underlying nature of water, the essence, is the Dharma body. The same drop of water can take on different appearances, and those appearances have its functions. The philosophical understanding of the Dharma, reward, and transformation bodies is something we must first grasp. In Buddhism, it is said that those who attain realization, who achieve the state of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, unexcelled perfect enlightenment, have seen the Dharma body, which is the essence of all life and the universe. This is what is referred to in the Heart Sutra as no birth and no death, no defilement and no purity, no increase and no decrease. The opening verse of the Diamond Sutra. How can one attain longevity and the adamantine body? Also refers to the Dharma body. When all thoughts cease, the entire body is manifest, which also refers to the Dharma body, which is formless. The perfect reward body refers to the achievements in practice. Earlier, we mentioned the Buddha's 32 marks of physical excellence and 80 minor marks that arise from his virtuous actions. This means that those who attain realization will transform their physical form, which is the reward body, the result of their past deeds. Why is it called the reward body? Because the body of all sentient beings is a reward body. The nature of our life experience, whether it is joyful or painful, is the result of our past actions, and this is our reward body. For those who have achieved realization, this reward body is transformed, resulting in a body that is beyond ordinary human capabilities. Taoist concepts like prolonging life and immortality also speak to this idea of the reward body. When the reward body is fully perfected, one undergoes a complete transformation, possessing all kinds of spiritual powers. This is extremely difficult to achieve, so the perfect reward body is highly valued. Taoist practices like cultivating energy, unblocking meridians, and opening chakras in esoteric traditions often focus on cultivating the reward body. Practices like samatha, calm abiding, vipassana, insight, and chanting often focus on the Dharma body. When the reward body is perfected, a person may manifest another body outside their physical body, which is the function of the transformation body. This is the general understanding of the Dharma, reward, and transformation bodies. Most people practicing Buddhism follow the path of the Dharma body in theory, while esoteric teachings claim to achieve all three bodies because only those who achieve all three bodies have truly mastered Buddhism. This is also known as achieving Buddhahood in this lifetime. To achieve this, one must transform the physical body inherited from one's parents. The physical body must be completely transformed to achieve the perfect attainment of the three bodies. The Lotus-born Master. In addition to worshipping Shakyamuni Buddha, Tibetan Buddhism also venerates Padmasambhava, also known as the Lotus-born Master. It is said that Padmasambhava was born 8 years after Shakyamuni Buddha's passing. When he was the master of the exoteric teachings, he was born through his mother's womb. However, he felt that the teachings in that lifetime were incomplete, so he was reborn as the master of esoteric teachings, emerging from a lotus flower. At that time, a king and queen in southern India were childless and very sad. One day, they were walking in their royal garden, admiring the lotus flowers, when suddenly, from the center of a lotus flower, a child emerged, fully formed with flesh and blood. This was Padmasambhava. Later, he became the crown prince and attained full realization at the age of 18, his physical body becoming eternal. In the past, there was an annual national fire puja in Tibet, a religious ceremony where offerings were burned, including women cutting their hair and offering it to the fire. The fire would continue for 7 days and 7 nights, and people would chant mantras to Padmasambhava, often seeing him riding a white horse, circling the firelight before disappearing. According to esoteric teachings, because Padmasambhava is the master of esoteric Buddhism, he does not follow the path of nirvana as he did in his previous life, but rides a white horse and ascends to the sky. When he manifests, he always appears as an 18-year-old youth, sometimes with a small beard. This illustrates the concept of the reward body, which, once perfected, remains eternal. It also aligns with Taoist ideas of immortality, where one's existence becomes one with the sun, moon, and stars, enduring as long as the universe itself. When the reward body is perfected, the transformation body naturally follows, possessing all spiritual powers. Therefore, achieving the perfection of the three bodies in this life is considered the complete realization of Buddhism. After understanding these theories and practices, we can see that the Diamond Sutra primarily focuses on realizing the Dharma body. How do we see the Dharma body? Through enlightenment, by seeing the true nature of reality. The Diamond Sutra is part of the Prajnaparamita teachings, which emphasize realizing the ultimate reality. The reward body and transformation body are part of the prajna of the phenomenal realm, wisdom that arises in relation to the various states, experiences, and phenomena encountered during spiritual practice. The Diamond Sutra stresses the importance of seeing beyond physical forms to realize the Dharma body. Therefore, the teaching in the Diamond Sutra that one cannot see the Tathagata through physical form speaks to the deeper understanding of the essence of life and the universe. Attachment to forms. In my personal experience, attachment to forms is quite common. Excessive attachment to forms can lead to what is medically known as religious psychosis, which is challenging to treat. This issue is not limited to Buddhism, but can be found in all religions where some followers do not pursue the true teachings, but their own blind belief. In Buddhism, This is described as being overly attached to forms. The Diamond Sutra is titled, "The Perfection of Wisdom That Cuts Through Diamonds," indicating that the wisdom it teaches transcends attachment to forms. The idea that one cannot see the Tathagata through physical form is central to this wisdom. Many people who practice meditation or other spiritual disciplines often ask if certain experiences or phenomena are good or bad. It is crucial to remember, all appearances are illusory. If today you have a good meditation experience, but that experience disappears when you stop practicing, then it is not the path. If crossing your legs in meditation brings you closer to the path, but uncrossing them takes you away from it, then you are practicing leg meditation, not the Tao. As the doctrine of the mean states, the way cannot be left for a moment. If it could be left, it would not be the true Tao. Similarly, the Heart Sutra teaches that the true nature of reality is not born, not destroyed, not defiled, not pure, not increasing, not decreasing. The path, Tao, does not grow with practice or diminish without it. If something grows or diminishes, it is not the true nature of reality. Thus, the true nature of reality cannot be seen through physical forms. All forms are illusory. Given that all forms are illusory, you might wonder if it is good to see a Buddha in front of you. According to the Diamond Sutra, if you truly see a Buddha in front of you, you should immediately have your eyes checked because something is wrong. Some people may hear certain sounds or have special intuitions, but we must remember, all appearances are illusory. The highest realization, Supreme Bodhi, is incredibly ordinary. The ancient sages taught us that the path lies in our daily lives. The true Tao, the truth, is absolutely ordinary. The most profound truth is the most ordinary. A person who is truly wise is also the most ordinary. As Laozi said, great wisdom appears like foolishness, meaning that wisdom at its highest is very simple and unpretentious. People often think of themselves as extraordinary, but that is just self-deception. To truly reach the most ordinary state is to realize the highest truth. I often joke that there are two apples in human history that have had a significant impact on the world. In Western culture, one apple was eaten by Adam and Eve, leading to the creation of human history. Another apple was observed by Newton, leading to a shift in civilization. Generations of people have eaten apples without discovering the law of gravity, but Newton observed an apple falling and discovered it. The apple is very ordinary. It falls every year, but someone saw the extraordinary in the ordinary. Similarly, water vapor is very ordinary. We use it to cook, but James Watt invented the steam engine. Everything has the same principle. Within the most ordinary lies the extraordinary. Therefore, when studying Buddhism, we must abandon those notions of magic and extraordinariness. To reach the most ordinary state in life is to truly understand Buddhism and to see the Buddha. In other words, if you understand that all forms are illusory, then not only will you not be attached to the Buddha's form, but you will also not be attached to any forms in the world. By not being attached to forms, you will see the Tathagata and your own true nature, the Dharma body. This is the conclusion of Chapter 5, which is very important, especially for those who practice regularly. For this chapter on seeing reality as it is, I summarize it with a verse. Repeatedly, the Buddha admonishes us about attachment to forms. the Buddha is speaking to us with deep concern, warning us not to be attached to forms. To attain the path, one must transcend forms, for the ultimate truth lies in the absence of forms. Yet we humans are pitiful, so the second line goes, when awake, we yearn for dreams, and in dreams, we yearn to awaken. This is human life. We often say that life is like a dream, but when we say this, we are still dreaming. When a person wakes up from a dream, they might think, oh, that was just a dream, but are they really awake? No, they are still dreaming. What's even more interesting is that some people had a good dream last night, and today they sit there reminiscing, unable to let go of the dream. This is the charm of life. When awake, we yearn for dreams, and in dreams, we yearn to awaken. Which is truly better? We don't know. For example, many of us know the poem by Li Shangyan. This feeling can only be recalled, for it was already lost at the time. The ancient sages also said, at the time it was just an ordinary thing, but after reflecting, it becomes so precious. We all have this experience in life, especially when reflecting on our childhood. Whether it's a boyfriend or girlfriend or any other aspect, at the time it seemed ordinary, but afterward it takes on a different significance. This is life. We often deceive ourselves with these feelings, which is why, when awake, we yearn for dreams, and in dreams, we yearn to awaken. Compassionate tears fall in vain, as the door to wisdom remains locked. Regarding the delusion of sentient beings, the Lotus Sutra mentions a bodhisattva named Constant Weeping Bodhisattva, who is always weeping. This bodhisattva seems to love crying, as he feels that sentient beings are too foolish and pitiful, causing him to weep constantly. Hence the name, Constant Weeping Bodhisattva. The Buddha repeatedly tells us in the Diamond Sutra not to be attached to forms, but many do not understand, leading Constant Weeping Bodhisattva to shed tears in vain. Finally, the heart remains sealed, still intoxicated with delusion. The door to wisdom remains closed because we are intoxicated with delusion. We are unable to open the door to wisdom, and we lock it ourselves, keeping it tightly shut. This sums up the message of Chapter 5.